Never leave wet swimsuits on your cruise bed, because what happens next? It could destroy your steward's day and your mattress. Want to avoid being the passenger the crew secretly complains about? Here are 10 things cruise cabin stewards secretly hate and how you can avoid everyone. From bad habits that mess with their entire schedule to rude requests that cross the line, we're diving into the stuff the crew wishes they could tell you. You'll walk away knowing how to cruise smarter, make your steward's job easier, and even score better service. And don't worry, we'll end with how to become their favorite guest. One couple left their "Do Not Disturb" tag on the door for 3 days straight. When they finally called to ask why their cabin hadn't been cleaned, the steward nearly cried. Cabin stewards work on tight schedules. Each shift is packed with specific cleaning times, linen runs, and turndowns. When your "Do Not Disturb" sign is out all day, it throws off their rotation completely. They either have to double back, sometimes hours later, or skip your room until the end of their shift, which cuts into off hours or delays other cabins. It also puts pressure on them to finish faster when they do finally get in, which can lead to rushed service or missed details. And no, they're not allowed to just open the door if you're not answering. Here's the fix. Remove the sign when you leave your cabin for breakfast or an activity, even if you want privacy later. You'll still get the service you paid for, and your steward won't be scrambling to catch up. Do you leave your "Do Not Disturb" sign up all day, or do you take it off when you leave? Coming up next, why some guests treat towels like they're gold, and how that causes surprising problems behind the scenes. You'd think towels were a form of currency. One family asked for a few extra, then stashed 10 in their closet. Later that cruise, housekeeping ran out mid-shift. Here's the deal. Every steward has a limited stock of towels, blankets, and pillows per shift. When guests constantly request extras and then hide them just in case, they're pulling from the shared inventory that was supposed to cover multiple cabins. This forces stewards to leave their zone, restock from central laundry, and play towel detective just to meet basic requests. It's even worse on sea days when demand spikes. Guests hoarding extra towels just in case leads to real shortages for others. And when people lie and say, "We never got them," yeah, stewards remember those cabins. The respectful move? Ask for what you need, not what you might need later. If you truly need extras for kids or a spill, explain it clearly. And when you're done with towels, leave them in one place. Don't scatter them across the balcony, bathroom, and closet. Next, the grossest thing cabin stewards say they find more often than you think, and why it's a cleanup nightmare. Behind the curtains, under the bed, in the drawers. Yes, your steward has probably found a half-eaten cheeseburger in all of those places. When guests leave room service plates sitting for days, or worse, hide them to keep the room looking clean, they create an absolute mess. Food attracts bugs, causes odors, stains carpet or linens, and often requires deep cleaning that eats into other cabins' time. Some even try to flush napkins or wrappers, which leads to plumbing issues that aren't cheap to fix. Others stash wine glasses under beds, thinking it's helpful, when in reality it's dangerous. Those break and cut stewards when they go to strip the beds. Here's what to do instead. Place dirty dishes gently in the hallway corner, only after calling room service to notify them. And trash? Use the trash bin, or ask for an extra one if needed. Your steward is there to help, not to hunt for a melting dessert in the nightstand. Up next, a mistake that's innocent at first, until it turns your entire cabin into a damp, moldy mess. One guest tossed her soaked bikini on the freshly made bed. By the time the steward found it, the mattress pad was damp, and the smell had already started. This one's a silent killer for cabin cleanliness. Wet clothing left on soft surfaces doesn't just stain, it seeps. And cruise cabin beds aren't built to dry out quickly in a cool, air-conditioned room. What you end up with is a mildew-scented mattress, soggy linens, and an angry steward trying to explain the damage to their supervisor. Some guests leave multiple wet swimsuits draped over chairs, the carpet, or pillows, thinking they'll dry faster. Instead, they create a humid zone that clings to everything, including clothes and even walls. And when stewards have to replace bedding midday, it delays every other room they're responsible for. The better move? Bring a cheap travel clothesline or ask for extra hangers. Hang wet items in the shower area or on the provided drying line in the bathroom. And if it's really soaked, roll it in a towel and wring it out first. Coming up, a behavior that goes beyond annoying and crosses straight into disrespect. He rang the steward's service button 5 times in one day. The last request? Can you iron my socks? Cabin stewards are hardworking, professional, and usually managing 15 to 20 rooms at once. What they're not? On-call butlers. But some guests don't seem to get the difference. Stewards report being asked to unpack luggage, fetch drinks, chase down pool towels, and even clip hangers off t-shirts, just to make things easier. The worst offenders speak with entitlement, snapping fingers, using rude tones, or treating stewards like invisible servants. It's not just exhausting, it's demeaning. If you've ever wondered why your steward suddenly seems less friendly or slower to respond, this is often why. The crew remembers who treats them with respect and who doesn't. Here's the golden rule. Treat your steward the same way you treat a helpful hotel employee. Be specific, polite, and realistic with requests. Most will go out of their way for guests who are kind. And yes, small gestures like please and thank you make a huge difference. What's the most ridiculous request you've heard someone make on a cruise? Next, we've got a pacing break, but the next tip? It involves smoke, hidden stashes, and the fastest way to get flagged by security. Quick note, if this video is helping you avoid cruise mistakes and maybe showing you how to be a dream guest, go ahead and tap that like button and hit subscribe. That way, your next cruise is smoother and your steward might actually like you. All right, let's keep going. Because tip number 6, it's something guests think they're getting away with until it sets off alarms. He thought one cigarette wouldn't hurt, but the smoke detector said otherwise, and so did security. Cabin stewards hate this one more than most, and for good reason. When guests smoke in their rooms, it's not just a smell issue, it's a fire hazard. And it puts the crew in the line of fire too. One steward told the story of a guest who used a towel to block the bathroom door crack and lit up. Not only did the fire alarm trip, but the entire floor was evacuated, and the steward got questioned. Worse, some guests try to cook in their cabins, bringing electric kettles or hot plates from home. That's not just against cruise policy. It can cause electrical damage and real safety issues. Even candle warmers and incense have been known to set off alarms and leave sticky residue behind. Here's the fix. Smoke only in designated areas and leave all heating elements at home. Cruise lines have strict policies for a reason, and breaking them can mean fines, cabin changes, or even being removed from the ship. And if you're tempted to mask smells with sprays, that just makes it worse for the cleaning crew. Coming up, a bizarre guest habit involving chairs, lamps, and vanishing furniture. They took a chair from the hallway. They left it on the balcony. It flew off during the night. Yes, guests really do this. Cabin stewards often walk into rooms that look like someone played interior decorator at 2 a.m. Beds pushed together or pulled apart, furniture dragged from balconies, hallways, or public spaces. Tables flipped sideways to make extra room. Some even move mattresses onto the floor. It might seem harmless, but this creates massive problems. First, it confuses the inventory. Every chair, table, and cushion is accounted for per room. Second, it damages floors and walls. And third, it creates liability, like the time a guest's borrowed chair went overboard during rough seas. Here's the smart move. Ask your steward if you need a layout change or extra furniture. They can often help or advise if it's not possible. But dragging pieces around yourself, that's a big red flag and can cost you. Next, what some guests demand every single day and why it's surprisingly selfish. Can you change my sheets again? It was day 3. The room was spotless. Some guests treat cruises like a 5-star hotel with unlimited linen service. But here's the truth. Stewards already clean your room twice a day. Demanding fresh sheets, new towels, or full bathroom resets daily? It's excessive, and it wrecks the cruise timing. One steward shared how a guest requested all linens changed every morning. That's not just laundry intensive. It delays the cleaning for everyone else on their route. And let's not forget, cruise ships carry a limited amount of linen per voyage. Constant extra laundry strains the system and the environment. What's reasonable? Let your steward know early in the cruise if you prefer extra cleanings, but be flexible. Most will offer a mid-week sheet change for longer sailings anyway. And if you reuse your towels, that small gesture helps the entire operation run smoother. Next, the shocking state some guests leave their rooms in and why it's not okay, even on vacation. Food crumbs in the bed, soaked carpet, a bathroom that looked like a hurricane hit it. That's what one steward walked into before 9 a.m. Yes, they've seen it all. Some cruise guests seem to think vacation mode means trash tornado. Clothes flung everywhere, wet towels piled on furniture, toiletries smeared across the counter. One steward said they once found chewed gum stuck to the mirror and sandwich crusts ground into the carpet. Here's the thing. Cabin stewards are not your cleanup crew for reckless living. They're there to refresh, reset, and support, not to do full-blown disaster recovery every morning. When a room looks like a frat house the morning after a party, it doesn't just slow them down, it's demoralizing. Be better than that. Keep your space reasonably tidy. You don't have to deep clean, but put trash in the bin, hang towels, and keep food contained. And if something spills or breaks, just let them know. They'd rather fix it than find it later. What's the messiest cabin or hotel room situation you've seen? And now for the most important thing you can do for your steward. He worked 12 hours that day. Only one guest smiled at him. Cabin stewards don't just clean your room, they're part of your cruise experience. They learn your schedule, they leave towel animals, they refill your ice, fluff your pillow, and smile even when they're exhausted. But what hits hardest? Guests who won't even acknowledge them. Some cruisers never make eye contact, never say thank you, never use their steward's name, even though it's clearly printed on a card. One steward said the worst guests are the ones who act like he's invisible, even when he's standing in the hallway holding fresh towels. Here's the game changer. Say hello by name, smile, leave a thank you note, tip fairly. Those little things, they mean the world. A kind guest makes a long day feel worth it. You might even get extra attention, small surprises or priority help, just for being decent. One guest hung wet towels over the emergency map. Another stacked luggage in front of the smoke detector. Neither had a clue how risky it was. Stewards aren't just there for comfort. They're also part of the ship's safety team. So when they walk into a cabin and find emergency signage covered, smoke detectors taped over, or fire exit pathways blocked by furniture or bags, that's not just annoying, it's dangerous. One steward shared a story where a guest hung a beach towel over the ceiling smoke detector because the blinking light was annoying. What happened next? The detector malfunctioned, and the entire fire control system for that deck had to be reset. Don't mess around with safety gear. Leave signage, detectors, and exits completely visible and clear. If something's bothering you, like blinking lights, tell your steward. They'll find a safe solution. Coming up, how you can be the guest they actually look forward to seeing. So now that you know what cabin stewards wish they could say, let's wrap it up right. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, type smooth sailing in the comments. It lets me know you're one of the good ones. Got a story about a great cabin steward or a nightmare cabin neighbor? Drop it below. Until then, cruise kind, and don't forget to tip your steward.